that is performance evaluation parameters and measuring SBU level performance, non-financial performance already we have seen, that is balance scorecard and Malcolm Bridge framework. Now with this SBU level performance also we have seen goal congruence and other subtopics. Now we will be going for transfer pricing. What is meant by transfer price? Transfer price is the price as mentioned here in PPT at which divisions of a company transfer resources. Please don't read resources, it's by mistake written resources with each other. Now one department of company transferring resources to another department of company. While this transfer is happening, one department is selling that particular resource to another department. This is what happens, and it is symbolically, graphically represented here too. That is, company is transferring transferring price, that is internal transaction, and it is internal transaction when it comes to transfer price, and transaction is happening because of transfer of goods, transfer of services, transfer of intangibles, or transfer of loans. Again, in another thing, when it comes to transfer price, a company is having arm's length price, means what? Outside transaction may also happen, and wherein transfer of price do happens. Within this, goods, services, intangibles, all these things are mentioned. Now what about these all goods transaction or services, intangibles, loans that happens? How it is possible that goods and transactions and services are part and parcel of this particular transaction? When it comes to loans, goods may be semi-furnished goods getting transferred to other department, where finished goods are getting converted from semi-furnished, they are getting converted into finished goods. Again, finished goods are getting converted into packed goods. Then packed goods are going to warehouse. These all phases wherein raw material is getting converted into finished good from one department to another department. Again, the same thing is applicable to services also. Then loans also. What happens? Reserve Bank of India is selling or is handing over money to State Bank of India. What happens in this situation? They are giving loans. That one is a resource. Money as a fund is considered as a resource, and here internal transfer price is quoted from RBI to SBI, and from SBI currency notes are getting distributed among different private as well as government, state government, public banks. This is how loan also can be considered as transferred resource. Now, types of internal transactions. What all are the types of internal transactions? A transfer pricing arrangement can be between intercompany departments. Within a company, there may be 2, 3 or more departments, and within those departments, transfer pricing is happening. Parent company and subsidiary. I will give you example here. Ultratech Cement is subsidiary of L&T. L&T is parent company, and Ultratech as a cement is a subsidiary. Between two subsidiaries of the parent company, within those two subsidiaries, transfer pricing may happen. Why transfer pricing is happening? Because they are exchanging goods, services, or that may be on account of some other particular type of products or loans or any other resource that could be considered. Raw material can be considered as resource also. So this is what happens between intercompany departments. Within the company, there are several departments, and those departments are exchanging resources. One department is selling resources to another department. Other department is converting that resources into partially completed or fully finished goods, and the same goods are getting transferred to another department. That way they are having exchange of resources, and because of exchange of resources they are having transfer of price also. Now parent company and subsidiary. Subsidiary belongs to parent company. So from parent company, from the main company, certain transactions do happen, and that to subsidiary are getting transferred. So these resources from parent company when get transferred to subsidiary, transfer pricing also do happen. That can be arranged here as it is stated between two subsidiaries of the parent company. Again, there are different types of subsidiaries based on nature of product or services. If a product is complicated, requires several types of spare parts, raw material, and assembly of the same is happening elsewhere. In that case, two subsidiaries also take part in transfer pricing. This is how we have to look into. Now, when in the next slide, we will look into this particular graph. What stated here, within internal transaction can happen, local context as well as global context. Map of America, USA and other country, Sri Lanka is depicted here, and this particular internal transaction from local context to global context can happen. So this is how internal transaction for transfer pricing is expected to happen, and in such way transfer pricing also is happening. What happens, the company which is existing in USA, the same company also exists in Sri Lanka. Now when it comes to resources, the same resource may be available. What it is there in USA is there in Sri Lanka, and when it comes to collection of that resource from some other company or subsidiary, instead of having that resource to be brought from USA, they are collecting it from subsidiary within Sri Lanka. So this is how local context and global context is depicted, presented here by having graph. Now there are different methods of transfer pricing. Where is first is cost based transfer pricing, second market based transfer pricing, and third is negotiated transfer pricing. When it comes to price, how we calculate in a simple way, how we calculate it, we are applying one simple formula: manufacturing cost plus profit margin is equal to price. That is how we are writing price. Apart from this one formula, we can have another several types of formulas based on how much is the cost added before making equal to price. That may be manufacturing cost plus transportation plus octroi plus taxes plus price margin, then plus something which is included while we are converting that raw material into finished goods, and that makes to price. So this is how method of transfer pricing is created. The first one is cost-based transfer pricing. These all three transfer pricing methods are included in your syllabus in second topic of EPM. One by one, we will look into those different methods and what all are its advantages and disadvantages. One important question, students, am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So today I am holding your session on mobile, and a bit difficult, little bit interference will be there. Please bear with me because I am not having laptop today with me. Otherwise, I would have gone smoothly. But with only mobile, it is. I am also finding difficult. But please bear with me one by one. This simple topic I will complete by today itself. We do have this particular topic closely associated with finance. Many of you students must be having commerce background, and this would be much easier for you to score marks also. Here, one numerical or case study is also expected. Remember, one numerical or case study is expected in your university question paper. But as you will be having multiple choice question exam, most of the one question MCQ will be there in your MCQ type exam. Out of 50, there could be 3 questions based for transfer pricing. Those 3 questions for 3 different methods of transfer pricing: cost based, market based, and negotiated. Now we will be looking into objectives of transfer pricing. What all are the objectives? Now what happens when internally raw material is getting transferred from one department to another? Record of the same remains with 2 departments as document, and there is little chance of any loophole or any miscalculation. When that particular record is cross-verified, there are no chances of any loss, any misconduct, or damage to the material which is bought. Again, when cross-verification of the raw material which got converted partly or fully into finished goods also can be calculated, and because of this, internal transfer is always expected and is in favor of particular department. There are disadvantages also. We will go into them step by step. But what all are the objectives of transfer pricing that I would like to share with you here? Here, what happens because of transfer pricing? Instead of going out buying raw material from third party, then keeping its record, then inviting tender, then having bid, and then all this lengthy process remains in limit when they are having transfer pricing as a method within their department or from parent company to subsidiary or between 2 subsidiaries. What happens because of transfer pricing? Minimizing tax liability. What happens within one company when you are from one parent company to subsidiary or between 2 departments selling goods and quoting price, liability for tax gets minimized because departments belong to one particular company and that company has to pay tax on annual basis. Helps to maintain divisional autonomy. Divisional autonomy, one particular department can decide with past experience, record kept for quarterly, half yearly and yearly manufacturing, or that way selling also. How much quantity is required for one particular department, and if one department knows that this much quantity is required for one specific quarter, another department also knows that next quarter in this financial year that department is going to ask definitely this much quantity. This happens because two departments are mutually dependent on each other and they are helping each other. So autonomy remains at divisional level as a method of performance, measurement and reward. Transfer pricing as method of performance, measurement and reward is easy to calculate. How much one department has sold to another department, that can be calculated in an easy way. So this all things are part of an objective of transfer pricing. Now, another few advantages or objectives of transfer pricing are to provide information for decision making. What decision making is required when transfer pricing as an objective is considered? How much to keep in stock, how much to keep buffer or additional stock, what particular quarter do have the highest requirement, which particular month of the year do have the lowest sale, which all are the market conditions at present, and based on market condition, competitors activity, what specific strategy or objective we can opt for, and according to strategies made, how much we can prepare for manufacturing, and based on manufacturing how much we can sell. These all decision making processes require information, and information can be collected because of transfer pricing policy. Now, to optimize allocation of financial resources, as it is happening within one company from one department to another, even if it is from parent to subsidiary or between two subsidiaries, allocation of resources and that to financial resources can be calculated. When we depend for other outside companies or outside parties for transfer pricing or transaction, that may be not much sure, or their availability, their reporting, their response to the requirement may differ from one party to another and from one financial year to another, one time to another time. So that way it is always required to enhancing a company's competitive position and improve its relation with foreign governments. This is also an important point. Now, what happens? Multinational companies do have their establishments or branches, in simple language we can say, in developing countries as well as developed countries. In this particular situation, they have to look into different objectives at a time, and that way they can enhance company's competitive position and improve its relation with foreign governments. How all the automobile companies and which are belonging to other countries than India helping us, how they help us, all these automobile companies are coming up with up-to-date advanced version model of automobiles. Maybe it's commercial vehicle or family passenger vehicle. That may be two-wheeler or four-wheeler. That may be for local transport or national transport. So that way they come up with up-to-date model, most of the time Germany and other models from USA also. So they all come up with these models, and Indian market of automobile sector becomes stiff competitive. So Indian automobile manufacturers also have to remain on their toes, and that helps us to increase our living standard, to get help from other countries in automobile sector for business transportation also. The models they are bringing in that helps our business, especially when it comes to business transport, commercial transport. So this is what happens when transfer pricing takes place and enhances a company's competitive position, and it's improve its relation with foreign government. Now we will look into cost-based transfer pricing at first. Now there are different forms of cost-based transfer pricing. Within one form, there are 4 types of transfer pricing: variable cost, actual full cost plus profit margin, and standard full cost. I am repeating once again. If you have notebook and pen, you can make note of these 4 types of pricing methods: variable cost, actual full cost plus profit margin, and standard full cost. Now you must be getting brief idea, rough idea with the title variable cost. What is meant by variable cost? Those all who belong to finance, please let me know.
The cost which is not fixed and changes every time, sir.
What may be the reason behind its change?
To give an example, we can calculate as an electricity bill.
Yes.
So it's a variable cost depending upon the usage or the type. It is known as a variable cost.
Electricity bill do have variable cost, but their per unit charges are fixed one.
Yeah. Per unit charges are fixed, but depending upon the unit consumed, the final bill is changed. So to give example, we can take as a electricity bill cost.
Okay. Now, variable cost example of MSCDCL or Adani that you can consider, because for this month, if the total amount of bill, electricity bill was 800 rupees, next month it may be less than 800 or more than 800. It depends on how much units we consume and depends on how much charges per unit for that month were existing, isn't it? You got, this is what you mean to say, no? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Actual full cost. So next onward. Okay. Let me not take too much test for you people. I will check with next explanation: actual full cost, variable cost, and other particular cost based prices. Now, market based transfer pricing. Market based transfer pricing do have that when the outside market for the good is well defined, competitive and stable, firms often use the market price as an upper bound for the transfer price. Okay. A company like who's making mango juice, what it is? Slice. The brand name is Slice, isn't it? They are taking in bulk mango pulp. Now this particular raw material, mango pulp, is based on market based transfer price. If mangoes are having different prices in different month of mango season, based on that, mango pulp also will be cheaper or costlier. What it is stated here: when the outside market for the good is well defined, competitive and stable, firms often use the market price. When outside market for the good is well defined. Now, when the prices for outside goods are stable, the market price is an upper bound. Upper bound means that particular company will have transfer price on market base. Again, what are the advantages of market based transfer price? Managers' motivation increases because they have more control over assets. Market-based transfer price, when it is stable and defined, managers are getting motivated. That may be from manufacturing department or even sales department. Top managers are not distracted by routine. Then forces selling division to be competitive with market conditions. When market do have stable price for one particular product, all the forces selling division, those who are working in sales department, they become competitive, because what happens, there's no difference in particular price based on market. Decisions are better and timelier because of the manager's proximity to local conditions. Manager's proximity means manager is very near to and known to local conditions. Local conditions based on and depends on price of a particular commodity. Now, one example here would like to be quoted from my side. In month of Feb or in first week of March, Feb end or March, when mango season just starts, that may be Feb end, Feb mid also. When mango season just starts, per dozen price of mango is too high. The same quality mango after 1 month is sold at 20% to 30% less price. The same mangoes, when rain season is about to start, the same mangoes per dozen price comes up to 50% less. This happens on account of more and more quantity of mango coming in the market. Even though it is Alfonso or any other popular brand which is costlier, when more quantity comes in the market, their prices comes down. Now, based on seasonal factors also, when rain season is about to start, their prices are coming down. Okay. Now, what happens if the mango as a entity or as an example taken, and for a particular season, for 4 months to 6 months, if its prices are remaining same for a company who's buying from one particular subsidiary, then in that case, they can decide the price of their particular product. That may be slice or any other particular mango drink. And based on that particular price, they can calculate the total sales volume they are acquiring and about to sell. And that way they can have their own budget too. If prices are fluctuating on market, because market itself is a volatile entity, then it is difficult for them to decide one particular fixed price and to sell that particular product also. So this is how advantages of market-based transfer pricing. The next method we will be looking to is negotiated transfer pricing. How negotiated transfer pricing is defined? The price set by negotiation between the buying and selling divisions. A raw material division is selling its raw material to manufacturing department. Now buyer is manufacturing department and seller is raw material division. Now what happens? Negotiated transfer price when by seller's perspective. Remember this particular point carefully. From seller's perspective, who's selling here? Raw material department. Transfer price will be more and variable cost plus opportunity cost. Now from purchaser's perspective, transfer price is less than cost of buying from outside suppliers. Here from seller's perspective, transfer price will be more because variable cost and opportunity cost is getting added. From purchaser's perspective, transfer price will be less when cost of buying from outside supplier. What purchaser is having in impression, if we are buying from outside supplier, there won't be any opportunity cost added. So this is how purchaser's perspective acts. The next one is benefits of negotiate transfer pricing, not need of active market for a particular good. Certain products do not have any impact, negative or positive, of market which is working out. Full autonomy to buy and sell. Managers are fully informed. This one is a time saving method and it's a motivational factor. I will go one by one, not just reading them. Now here what happens? No need of active market for a particular good. When negotiable or negotiable transfer pricing method is opted out, market conditions are not hampering this particular good. Are there any goods which are sold in market where ups and downs in market don't affect them? You got my question? What type of goods do have neither positive effect nor negative effect, whatever may happen in market? Yes, you can hear me?
Yes, sir.
So are there any goods which don't have any positive negative effect of market? Okay, if you can't get the particular example, I will quote here. Because I was in the same industry, pharmaceutical sales. Now what happens when it comes to food, garment, jewelry, transportation, or any other type of services? There are several factors, seasonal factors especially associated with these type of goods and services. A specific month of year like Diwali or Akshay Tritiya or New Year, which New Year starts for Hindu people, Indian people. Those days, garment sale and gold jewelry sale increases, and definitely their prices also increases. Now, these all do have market effect, but medicines as a product required and bought only and only when they are needed, not wanted. So their particular manufacturing and selling in the market based on negotiated transfer pricing. One department or one parent company, when sells it to subsidiary, they are preferably using negotiate transfer pricing, full autonomy to buy and sell. One department is having full autonomy to buy a particular product, and other department is the same department also do have full autonomy to sell it. Managers are fully informed because they are doing consistently this particular work irrespective of market condition. Even if market condition is too low or slack, or what we say downturn, their seniors are not asking them to stop the manufacturing process or the duty responsibility what they are holding. They are doing the same thing in continuity. Time saving method, because they have to do specific work in specific time, they have this time saving method. 1 month or one particular quarter they have to work very hard, too long, 10 hours, 12 hours every day, and the other particular quarter they are having just 6 hours work, only 2 shifts or one single shift. That way it is not happening. They are having one specific time of work in continuity for entire year. That is time saving method. And this particular is a motivational factor because managers feel safe in this situation. When market is volatile, managers also get worried whether they will be able to sell their particular service or goods into market or not. But in such situation, in need-based product, which negotiate transfer pricing is using, that is also with safe in safe position. That's the motivational factor for managers. Now, the next one particular pricing method. Again, here we will look into drawbacks of negotiate transfer pricing. What could be the drawbacks here? The parties does not have equal bargaining power. Seller and buyer does not have equal bargaining power. Why? Because it is happening in continuity. Either seller may have more bargaining power or buyer may have more bargaining power. Risk of disharmony with opportunity cost. Here, risk is associated with opportunity cost. Any student can help me or explain in brief what is opportunity cost?
Yes, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, opportunity cost in simple term, we can say what we have to give up in order to choose the something else.
Please, will you please be little louder and explain it?
Yes, sir. Means opportunity cost means what we have to give up in order to choose something else. Means suppose I want to choose another thing, and I am going to lose one thing, and I'm going for another thing. Then the difference between that cost is the opportunity cost. What I'm going to lose in between.
But when it comes to opportunity cost, when I will be in profit with opportunity cost, the thing which I am giving is much lesser valued than the thing which I am receiving. Isn't it?
Yes, yes, sir.
Now what happens here in negotiable transfer pricing? Risk of disharmony with opportunity cost. Disharmony means what happens when I am bargaining with buyer and I am a seller. In such situation, opportunity cost for me is profitable to me, but not to the buyer. Where negotiation is always where one party is not much satisfied with other party's satisfaction. When it negotiation there is very little chance that the parties do come at a point where both do agree. Of course, they agree they have to run the business, but one party is not much happy with the other parties winning. This is what happens, disharmony with opportunity cost. Conflicts on transfer prices between divisions. Conflicts of transfer prices are there in divisions. And the next one as a method, advantage and disadvantage of transfer pricing, and within that transfer pricing, different methods that allows the company to generate profit figures for each divisions in separate manner. Now what happens when a department from one particular division of a company is selling something to another department? That particular department thinks of their profit because they are given certain level or full level authority. Now, one particular department, when gets benefited or in profit, the other department who's buying it thinks of their own profit also. And in these consequences, when finished goods are coming out of that company, that organization, that manufacturing unit, they sell it with reasonable price or price with specific profit margin. What happens as advantage of transfer pricing allows the company to generate profit figures for each division in separate manner. When particular product is having 10 rupees profit margin and its selling price is 100 rupees, that 10 rupees profit is divided into different departments of that manufacturing company. That may be raw material division is having 2 rupees profit, then manufacturing goods may be having 3 rupees profit, then again advertising cost got added which was too high because it is FMCG product, and then another department which is doing selling of that particular product and added another 3 rupees. Likewise, every other department do add profit margin, and all these profit margins are added together and final price is decided. The sales, pricing and the production department can be coordinated through this method. This is what happens when it comes to sales, pricing and production departments are coordinated. What happens when they are having transfer pricing methods with different types of cost? They can judge what particular thing is in their hand, how they have to sell it, and what pricing actually needed to be made. We must have seen, or you must be knowing, that one Coke tin or one Coke bottle of 300 ml cost around 88 paise for its manufacturing. Their bottles are recyclable, where they are saving their manufacturing cost. Then the that syrup, what they bring in, water, sugar, other few chemicals which are required, these all things they buy in bulk quantity, and because they are buying in bulk and for years together, they get sizable margin. The way they are bringing in raw material, no one else can go up to that level for buying that raw material. So they do have that margin. But what happens? How come their prices are 10 rupees, 12 rupees? Because advertising as a cost is added and it is too high because it's a FMCG product where competition is very tough. So this is where sales and pricing is deciding. Production department says a Coke bottle is getting just manufactured at 88 paise. We are handing over this finished product to sales department. Now sales department will consider profit margin. When a particular product is not even manufactured per unit less than 1 rupee, their margin may be 10 paise, 20 paise at the most. But when it comes to pricing department, what they say, as this particular product is having heavy investment for its advertising, for its promotion, for its sales, we have to add advertising cost into it. And that way its price when end user, end customer is buying comes at the rate of 10 rupees. So this is an advantage for transfer pricing, helps in resource allocation. Now when one department is selling particular goods to another department, they do keep record, track that particular material or goods or even loans or services, what we have seen in the beginning in slide 1 or 2. And that resource allocation can be made in a proper manner. It's not 1 or 2 years record. When they are adopting for transfer pricing method, they are keeping track of last 5 year and 10 years record also, with situational changes, with changing market condition, with technical advantages or upgradation. They have to change their manufacturing method, but the demand which is increasing based on products popularity, customers acceptability, and expansion strategy of their own organization, they can allocate resources. When one individual department is fully responsible for and given freedom of deciding price for what they are selling to another subsidiary or another department, their resource allocation do happen very easily. So this is an advantage for transfer pricing. Again, few next advantages we would like to discuss here. Performance evaluation of each department becomes easy. Yes, this is how they can do it. Now, when it comes to sales department, how much sale they have done, that could be decided. When it comes to warehouse or raw material department, selling from one department to manufacturing, that could be calculated on monthly, quarterly or yearly basis, because one department is having full authority of selling their units because they are selling it to another department, and because another department is buying it, both the parties are equally responsible for keeping that record. That way they have to maintain record in proper manner, even if it is required to be maintained on daily basis and on a unit basis, how much units they sold on which date. If they have to maintain that record, performance evaluation of each department becomes easy. That way it is easy to calculate, because unit wise or rupee wise, both the figures can be cross verified. If raw material department is saying that we completed our quota of transferring or selling raw material to manufacturing unit or division, manufacturing division themselves do have record how much they received from raw material department, so that they cannot have tall claim or false claim when it comes to whatever was transferred or sold from their side. Again, decisions become better and more timely. Timely in the sense, a particular month or time of year, financial year, calendar year, you can quote that way, is having high demand. another one having low demand. So based on those requirement in market, transfer pricing can be decided, allocation of resources can be decided on based on resource allocation. That much raw material also from companies outsider party can also be brought, and record can be maintained also, and a decision of buying particular product and selling them also becomes easier. When it comes to wholesalers, super stockists, carrying and forwarding agent, distributors, company who's at manufacturing end and having stock kept with them, they can convince wholesaler by having record that previous year, this quarter was having too high sale. It is our request and information to you that you keep additional stock so that retailers and from retailers, end buyers also will not have shortage of goods. This way they can convince them. Manager's motivation increases. Why manager's motivation increases? Because he is keeping record and because he is getting particular product at particular time. He is getting help by other departments, and sale is happening in proportion to the stock what he is getting manufactured. He is also getting motivated, with which is improving his performance also, and reducing income taxes. Company as a whole is paying income taxes. Internal department do not have this responsibility. When we are buying any particular stuff completely from outside or third party, when we do buy that, we have to pay tax. But when it comes to internal transfer, there's no question of paying tax, and that way it reduces income taxes also. What disadvantages we can talk of transfer pricing? It's quite possible that disagreement among organizational divisional managers. Now, divisional managers may be from different departments: accounts, finance, operations, sales, advertising, or distribution. They do have disagreement. Why? Because everything at the end of the day depends on how much sale is happening. When it comes to manufacturing or operations, a specific process is followed for manufacturing a particular good. But when it comes to sale, it depends on buying power of customers, market situation, and willingness of buyers to buy and accept a specific company's product. When a particular product, although priced at low level, technically upgraded, but not much liked by customers or not accepted, it is difficult for all divisions from start to end to keep this transfer pricing method and having interdepartmental understanding. When sale do happens, everything goes well. If sale is not happening, a particular product or service is not accepted by the market, every other department tries to play blame game. So these all factors matters a lot. Additional cost, time and manpower will be required. Additional cost required when transfer pricing, when additional cost is required, when material required is bought, but certain processes are updated or more number of units are getting produced. In such situation, additional cost is required. Time and manpower, again, not just cost, additional time, additional manpower will be required too. Now, when a particular department in operations is doing 800 units per working day, and if market requirement is high in demand, what happens from sales department insist operations department to have more manufacturing, and they feel it is beyond their practical capacity. They feel it is not feasible, and in such situation, sales department requests to the top management to have additional manpower also, or the same manpower to work for more time, overtime. That may also is another option. Now, what happens? These particular factors always have clashes. Sales department, when selling high, ask operations department, manufacturing department to manufacture more. And when they start manufacturing more, after specific time period, when sales goes less, again sales department says we don't want this much unit. When manufacturing do happen, they are not just have to consider sales, what is happening in market. Their own method of manufacturing is followed, so that minimum cost is involved while manufacturing. I am giving you an example here. When a publisher, book publisher, whatever type of book it may be, academic book, novel, story, or poems, when he is manufacturing or he is printing, in precise word, if I have to say, when he is printing 1000 copies of a book, 1000 copies of a book, his per book, per copy cost, if his per copy cost is 100 rupees. Now what happens when he is manufacturing or he is printing the same copies in 5,000 quantity or 10,000 quantity? You know what happens? His cost per copy from 100 rupees comes down to 90, 80, even 60 also. More he is printing, less his manufacturing cost. Less he is printing, more his manufacturing cost. Just remember, when we go to flour mill in its scheduled time, morning 9 to 1, afternoon 4 to 7, if we only are visiting that flour mill as a customer and we want 5 kg of wheat to be grounded, what that flour mill owner or attendant do? He asks we wait for a while, let other few customers come. You know why? Because for one customer operating electric current, starting the entire unit and operating that flour mill for sake of 5 kg wheat is not feasible and having profit for that customer. When 50 kg, 100 kg or more than that order comes to him, his entire operations do happen in a profitable manner apart from sale. So that way manufacturing and sales always do have this clash or this difference of opinion. Try to understand, when manufacturing do happens, in simple word, when manufacturing happens more in quantity, less is the manufacturing cost. When manufacturing happens less in quantity, more is the manufacturing cost, because entire assembly is operating for few units only, and that way it requires raw material, it requires electric current, it requires labors, it requires other supporting material or services also. So this is all depends on how much manufacturing at specific time is happening. Transfer prices do not work equally. Transfer price may work in favor of a particular product and not in favor of other product. It's always advisable to see if transfer within department is feasible or outside party we should invite for a particular product to buy. Now, cause dysfunctional behavior. This is what happens, dysfunctional behavior, because one particular department is adding profit margin too high and the other department is adding too low. one particular department is appearing for company as a profitable one, and other department appears as a non-profitable one, although they are working with equal length and strength. You are getting me? They work with equal strength, but their profit margin is appearing less, and other department profit margin is appearing more. In case of coke, only with profit margin to be added on manufacturing cost, what else we can do? 88 paise, even if we add 20% or 25% profit margin, we have to sell coke at the rate of 1 rupee 20 paise, at the most 1 rupee 10-20 paise between that, but it is selling at 10 rupees. Why? Because advertising cost is too high. Its manufacturing cost is too less, advertising cost is too high. This can create dysfunctional behavior. Now, highly complicated. When proper or mutual understanding is not much attained, miscommunication happening repeatedly, it becomes highly complicated to opt for and to make use of transfer pricing, and difficult to estimate the right amount of pricing policy, because raw material costs are fluctuating, because market demand is uncertain, and with the changes in social, technological, political, uncontrollable factors, external factors in the market, transfer pricing as policy to opt and get maximum advantage is always difficult. So what happens? It is always difficult to estimate the right amount of pricing policy. This was the disadvantage what is shared, and so here our pricing policy or transfer pricing as a subtopic comes to an end. Now, apart from our regular discussion, I would have taken few more minutes, but it is already 7 o'clock and I am leaving you. Okay, thank you all.
Thank you, sir.